Yes, we do. That's right. So, reading 4/17/24. This is where I ended it.
Yeah.
Hoping that's where we want to be at.
Alright, cool. I have a red comment after that line.
You do?
Yeah. I, the first public hearing, the applicant
Okay, there it is.
shall
Shall.
meet with the TRT.
Yeah,
This was
that was what we did.
4/17, so.
That's the
Well,
last change that I have,
Okay.
is that one is what's in here, so it's this many pages in. We should have numbered these.
Yeah.
I was thinking that, but now whatever.
Yeah.
I like to live on the edge.
So am I right or wrong on that one?
You're pretty close.
I think that's,
Like I said, I guess I have one red line right after that.
yeah,
Okay.
under shall. We went from will to shall,
Oh, I see it. I see it. Okay.
which, yeah. So I think we can move on to, well, if you want to call this to order, I suppose, would be official.
Call the Oxford Planning Board Subcommittee meeting for May 29th to order. Members present, Craig Holmberg, Eric
Ramsey.
and
Patrick Dahlgren.
someday, Pat, I'll remember that. So I think we're gonna pick up where we believe we left off, and that was tech review team and department comments, right?
Yeah, I think we had
Went through that?
finished going through that. Everything else, I think it was pretty fine, I think.
Okay. So then the next item will be review by the Board of Health.
Yeah.
At the time, little. Now, have you already done what's required in the submittal? Are we in definitive plan mode
I
right
don't
now?
think we are. I think this is.
Preliminary. Preliminary?
No. I think that was kind of the. I think this is. Let me go back.
This is definitive, I believe. Prior, oh yes, it's prior to opening the public hearing, upon receiving the filed definitive subdivision application package, the planning board shall.
Yeah. But I think this is all under.
So at the top, the page you had the line through talks
Yeah.
about
I
preliminary.
think this is section 5 subdivision review process.
Okay. But we're still in preliminary, right?
Yeah, I'm just gonna double check that that's what section we are in, actually. Let's see, just goes. Yeah, section 5 subdivision review process. Just check. No.
So,
Okay.
interesting.
It's,
Is that out of order?
I don't think so. No.
For the-
Okay. Yeah, so we are under this section 5 still.
Because I'm looking at the page before where we think you ended up.
Yeah,
And it talks about complete definitive subdivision
right.
application package. But
And
then,
so then coming forward, section 6 is the next section, just in a couple of pages.
so I go from this.
Yep.
To this.
Yes.
Yes.
Mine doesn't look like that though.
Yeah, I had like 3 or 4 pages.
Okay. Because this page here talks about complete definitive subdivision application, right?
Mhm.
And then this next page at the top is talking about package shall be deemed filed. The preliminary subdivision application package shall be deemed filed and the appropriate. And then it goes 90 days, residential subdivision or preliminary.
I have the same as that. I
Yeah.
have the same as that.
Unless I'm just,
In that order.
unless I'm not reading farther enough back. Farther and.
Yeah.
Or maybe this is just a reference for the.
Okay, so there's pre-application, definitive, subdivision plan review, delivery of the package, prior to opening hearing, technical review, and now we're on review by Board of Health. Right?
That's fine.
Okay, so I'm still confused, but that's fine. So, what is the preliminary plan reference that comes after the definitive?
So they did the preliminary first, and then you had the 90 days for the definitive. And then now we're doing the definitive, you need Board of Health, you need DPW, part of the application.
Okay, so this is just, we're in the definitive, so this is just referring to the 90 days versus the 135 days.
I believe so.
I think so.
I don't know if
that's correct.
All right, okay, cool. So we're into review by the Board of Health.
Yep.
Do we have, so we're still talking about the package for the definitive
Mhm.
submittal?
Mhm.
Do we ever spell out, like, in a list of who gets a copy of each, who it gets shipped out to? Like, the planning board shall, upon, acceptance of a submittal, forward for review to these departments. I'm just wondering if that would be a good thing to have. And then,
I don't know. So, I mean, we have tech review as being a requirement.
okay,
Before the first public hearing. And we've created a checklist, a sign-in sheet with signatures and everything else with who should be at that meeting. So, police, fire, DPW, myself, Patrick.
okay, so we're not notifying all these different boards about, that, hey, we received this.
Oh no, we are. We are. Should it be in here someplace? You mean?
I'm just wondering if maybe that could be part of our, initial procedure.
That could be an internal thing for the office staff to do.
Gotcha.
It's a good idea.
Just so you-
something to think about for sure. Is how to
So
create
people-
that. I know the form itself has a sign off for.
Hey, John, here he is.
Saved. Thank you. I'd still be outside planting bushes. I wasn't here last meeting, so you gotta tell me where you guys left off.
Sure. So here you go. We are right here at the top.
Alright.
So take that.
Oh, yeah, I know.
So, review by the Board of Health.
Yeah.
This stuff, again, this stuff is probably what, cookie cutter, 45 days.
I think A is you know, yes, we have to do that, but someone has to do that, you know, per MGL. I don't like the language in B.
What were they, where we're telling them?
45 days.
Yeah, where we're telling them that they shall provide this and this is what they shall do. Just never a big fan of telling other departments that they have their own set of rules and regulations and laws that they have to follow that, hey, you have to do this also on top of all the other stuff that you do.
So the applicant is required to submit one of the packets to the Board of Health.
Right.
What happens if they don't? Time goes by.
Then we have to submit to them. There's a sign off on the form for Board of Health.
Mm-hmm.
So if Board of Health hasn't signed off on it, but they've received a copy.
So they're gonna get
It's incomplete. We can't.
Mm-hmm.
It's not
Because
accepted.
if the 45 days goes by default, then the Board of Health would have no comment on it, and it would be approved automatically.
Right.
How do we try to
Stop that.
if, say someone missed a step with the applicant?
So I
missed a
think that's
step.
where C comes in. The Board of Health may provide written report request for an extension of time to the 45 days for substantial good cause. However, the way that I would look at, like the way we have our form set up with having the Board of Health signature on there, I would say if we don't have that signature on there that they've received it, it's not a complete until such time as that gets given, whether I submit that or.
So when does the clock start for the 45, when you have a completed?
When it's a completed application. That's my thought on it.
Well, the 45 days is just kind of like an arbitrary number that we set, right? I don't think there's a statute saying
I
they have
don't
to.
think that's what I was wondering. I don't think that there's anything in there for.
Yeah. I think that's just, we're requesting their input. He's putting a date on, putting a number of dates on it.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, then they'll wait to the 89th day.
I'm not 100% sure.
No, I mean, do you want to just leave it in there, but soften it up a little bit?
Other than shall would be May. And that's. That's not good.
I think May would work.
Just want to see. Nope. So that's actually B is from MGL.
Oh, it is?
Yep.
Okay,
Okay.
there you go.
And it does say that it shall be in writing, so
Okay.
I think we don't have much to
To touch that on that.
touch on, with the exception potentially days. Okay, so the way MGL reads is that they have 45 days to report to the planning board in writing approval or disapproval of said plan. And if they disapprove, they have to give findings as to why.
Does it say anything about if they don't
Yeah, I'm looking at their, is it
respond
down here in D?
45 days?
C. Extension.
Failure of such board or officer to report shall be deemed approval by such board or officer.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Or denies, all right, subdivision. Okay.
So, since that's coming straight out of The only thing would be like the second sentence, such report shall include a review, recommendations, requirements, and or findings for the project. I almost want to put the third sentence before that, just to follow along with what MGL says, and just get rid of the furthermore. Just call it such report shall provide a statement as to whether the Board of Health approves with modifications / requirements or denies the definitive subdivision application package. And then with the second sentence, maybe just to follow along with what the law says, in the result of a denial, such report shall include review, recommendations, requirements, or findings.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make any sense?
Yep.
Deemed as approved.
Okay. So remove this third sentence to the second sentence, and then with additional language, and then the third sentence, should the Board of Health deny the definitive subdivision application package, such report shall include, and I got rid of a review, recommendations, requirements, and or findings for the project. And it shouldn't be and or, it should be and. Because or would be not follow up with MGL. Good.
Yep.
Yeah. So we move on?
Yeah.
Okay. So C, the Board of Health may provide written request for extension.
May, I what shall provide.
Well, if they submit within 45 days, they don't need the extension.
Yeah. They don't need it.
Yeah. May provide a written request, may
For an
submit
extension,
a written request for an extension of time.
would you want to make it kind of mandatory? They need an extension, because once you have the extension or request the extension, doesn't the timeline stop? Like
But
pauses.
this is saying that, so you gotta take it in context of B is they have 45 days. If they can't get it done in the 45 days, they may request this extension. It's not a shall. A shall would be regardless of if they've completed it in 45 days, they have to request the 45 day.
So you put if needed, may, comma, if needed, provide. if required,
If necessary.
if necessary.
If necessary.
Maybe say if necessary request.
Yeah,
And get
if
rid of
necessary,
provide.
may provide a written request.
But the Board of Health may, if necessary, request or submit a written request for an extension of time.
Sounds good.
Do the appropriate comments. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna highlight in D, talks about being paused, and the section V dot F dot 6, I'm gonna highlight that because I'm sure we're gonna change that based upon whatever we end up calling this. Will be frozen, so such information. I'll make the correct department name there at the bottom. Is that legal to do? Yes, it is.
What?
To pause the timeline?
Well, doesn't it talk about
Says if it's
timelines outlined in
it's
section,
in F, I mean, F, V,
is that an
F6.
MGL thing?
No, that's in the bylaw.
Also reference a timeline in section F, I mean, D, V, F6. There's a timeline in that.
Alright, but we don't,
We don't,
Yeah, we're not sure if that's gonna stick or what that.
do we have that section
do we, yeah,
in this packet somewhere?
Yeah, we should.
is that what reference the wells, private wells and septics?
Let me try to find it here. Okay, so it's before. Or
Alright, so that thing.
okay, so section V. Now I gotta find is it 5 F6?
6,
It's V.
VF6.
F6. Okay. Section V, subdivision review process. Okay. Problem is, there's no F.
Did we chop that out on our first run through?
No, because I have all the changes.
Stormwater.
VF6.
V.
Oh, here it is. I think it is.
Where is it?
Um, CF, but it's not. It's highlighted on mine, so it should, in theory, be highlighted on this as well.
Traffic. Stormwater. Should be highlighted.
This
Impact neighborhoods.
we make
Volume of water. Private infrastructure, maybe that's it. Wells, portable water. Fee. Photography.
there might be a page missing in this. I don't know why. Doesn't make any sense.
Oh, that's-
Let's try the TV up here and plug this thing in.
Decision.
Oh, no, no. Oh, okay, so actually it's just up the previous page from where we're looking at.
Previous page.
Previous page. Yeah. I think
I don't see an F.
Oh.
Oh,
it's
On the next page I do. On Form 7 one.
no, before that. So on
Before that.
oh, sorry, two pages back. There's F right there, right?
Yeah, it says upon receipt
there's no F
Form
on
7.
here. There's an F here.
No,
Like with the bullet.
just-
Where? Okay, so go. If you go to where we started today with 4, the technical review team and department comments. Review. Okay. Yeah. So the right up above that, the 90 days non-residential, 90 days residential preliminary is filed in 135. That might be what they're talking about. I'm not 100% sure, actually. These come from Framingham. So, if I look at their
6. It says 135 days. 3. That's 6, 6, 3. 6, okay, 5. 6.
only problem is I don't know
Oh, shit.
if these were. Okay, so F. So according to their thing, again, this came from Framingham. So section V, subdivision review process. A is overview, B is pre-submittal technical review, C is general review procedures, D is approve/endorse plans, definitive subdivision only, E, preliminary plan review process, F, definitive subdivision review process. So,
It's right here. Further back in the packet, definitive subdivision plan for review and signature upon approval. So F, was it 6?
Yeah, F6.
it back?
Oh, so 6 is, according to their, um, this makes no sense.
That doesn't make sense either.
No, because VF6 is review by the Board of Health.
We can change that.
Yeah, so we're just gonna have to,
It's almost like looping back.
V is B10.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I get it. I understand what they're saying. Section VF6 should be. So, really for us, it's 5. Because our 5 is reviewed by Board of Health. It's talking about the 45-day timeline is paused if they refuse to.
So it's the same section?
Yeah, it's the same section.
So it kind of loops back.
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
How do we fix this?
Who does not provide the required and/or adequate information to the Board of Health in a proper review. Pause and timelines. Timelines out. The problem is we don't have timelines in here other than the 45 days, with the potential for the additional 45 days.
You know, what other timeline would we have for this? for the
I mean,
Board of Health?
there's not for the Board of Health, but there is for the subdivision in general.
But I think, isn't this specific to the Board of Health? This, that we're looking
The
at?
section is, yeah.
So the 45, so the 45 days is,
It's got to be the 45 days that they're talking about, or it's talking about, we go to A, which then leads to MGL Chapter 41, Section 81U, which is where it talks about the Board of Health having to do their review in 45 days, and if they don't do it I think the premise behind this section is to say, if within that 45-day time period, the applicant does not submit proper approval, whatever required documents from the Board of Health, the timeline is paused.
so the whole complete timeline is paused.
The whole complete timeline is paused, but also that 45 days, which would say, okay, 45 days is up. Yeah, you asked me for different things. I didn't provide them to you. Oh well, 45 days is up. It's an automatic approval. That's what they're saying. It's the automatic approval at the end of the 45 days is paused.
Okay, I got you.
It's not a beautiful way to say this, but I'll work on that section and get it to you.
So say that again, because I read it as if the Board of Health doesn't get back with a written approval or denial or need information within the 45 days, I read it as it's an automatic approval by the Board.
It is.
Correct on that?
Correct.
Okay.
But if this is saying that if the Board of Health says to the applicant, hey, you've got this septic here and it's right on top of a wetland, let's say, and there's no way that that's going to fly, you're going to have to, move it, or you're showing this as a 1,000-gallon and based upon the number of bedrooms you're proposing, it needs to be 1,500. We need to adjust that. And if they say, no, we're not going to do it, or they just don't do it within the 45 days, this is saying that
The timeline.
the timeline is paused. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, if they say, well, I got to go back to my engineers, got to redraw this, and it's going to take weeks, and I'm going to go, no, take as long as you need. Your timeline's paused.
Right. Okay, I understand that.
Yeah, it's.
So you can just find a better way to,
I will try to find a better
Find a better way
write
to
that.
say it's not automatically going to be approved in that delay. Right.
right?
Because it's the inaction is not on the Board of Health at that point. It's
Right.
on the
Right. And you don't want to reward them for their inaction.
Correct.
Automatically.
Right.
I got that.
I mean, that's like the planning board doesn't make a decision within X amount of time.
Right.
It's deemed an automatic approval or an administrative approval, which is essentially an automatic. But So that goes on to F, failure of the board to report comments and or make recommendations within 45 days without a written request of extension shall be deemed as approval.
Yep.
Yeah. Should not the decision this board house has approved was by default of failure to report comments.
Yeah, so the beginning, failure of the board of
Yeah.
health to report comments and or recommendations within 45 days to who?
To the planning.
To the
board.
planning
Planning
board.
board.
Do you want to add that in there? We might assume it is. Do they make the recommendation to the planning board or to the app?
Well, I think, because they're talking about submitting to the planning board above that.
Yeah, it's about
So I think it just implied that, and we can add to
I
report.
mean, it's in B that they shall provide written report to the planning board. So I think we're covered.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I like to dumb it down too. I mean,
Yeah.
if it's just a matter of throwing a
Two
couple
words
extra
in
words
planning
in there,
board.
just say failure to conform to
Section.
section.
So failure of the board of health to report comments and or make recommendations to the planning board within the 45-day period. Blah blah blah.
Perfect.
It kind of clarifies it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Applicant,
Yeah.
you know.
I mean, that was one of the,
Actually, that makes some sense because if the applicant says, well, they made comments to me within 45 days and said I needed to make these changes, why hasn't the planning board approved this? Yeah, that's good CYA or whatever you want to call it.
okay.
And the approval of a definitive subdivision application package by the PB shall only be given no building structure shall be built and replaced in order to designated the park instead of board of health. Okay.
Therefore, the planning board shall do it.
Based on such conditions specified in lots of land. Yeah, that makes sense. That you can't approve something that the Board of Health has made changes on without those changes being made, basically. But that's it.
Right. So the board of health has a lot of power.
Yeah, I mean, and really they should because they hold all the weight behind.
Right.
Whether or not a lot is buildable or not.
Right. And the wetlands issues.
Yeah. Positive recommendation to the planning board for a project that will be serviced by private/community well and or septic. Whereas the BOH does not make a request to the private/community well or septic exempt from Board of Health well and or septic permits. Applicants will still be required to file such permits with the Board of Health separately from the, yeah, okay.
Pretty boilerplate.
Yeah, that's very boilerplate. This one's 6. There's no. I think they should work with DPW. I'm just wondering if. No, never mind. We're fine. I was thinking like with a peer reviewer kind of a thing, but we do specify above that peer review it's allowed and it will be paid for by the applicant. So,
Yeah.
If DPW says, "Hey, we need peer review to look at this," then the applicant will have to pay for that. But I just don't know if we should mention that in here. Like shall work with the Department of Public Works, or
Even at the end of C, you can see you can even add something at the end of C, paragraph C, maybe.
Mhm.
I think,
Shall not endorse a definitive subdivision application package based on such conditions, especially a lot of land to which such conditions apply, You may wanna add a peer review.
Well, I was wondering if up at the top, in the first sentence, applicant shall work with the Department of Public Works, DPW, and or
Peer review.
peer review, peer reviewer, a peer reviewer,
Well,
to develop plans for a road.
well, I don't think that peer review is really their job is to, they look at it and check it based on our regulations, based on state regulations, based on Massachusetts DPW, not to develop, to tell them how to do it. Just to make sure that it conforms to.
So, but Kathy Way, we have an account with Graves to do review of the roadway as it's being constructed. So, it's still, it was through the planning board, but it was also through DPW.
Yeah.
Cause I believe the DPW didn't have the ability to.
And have an engineering staff, I think is what I don't know the full.
I think that's what I remember now. You bring that up.
Yeah.
But-
They did it out of house, not in house.
They wanted to have the peer review, engineer to go out and make sure that the sidewalks were correct, the road pitch, the elevations were.
Pitch right, everything, the drainage.
But this section is talking about, that when the developer is designing the road, it's working with DPW.
You're right.
Here's what we're doing, and then at the end, if you look at it, it says that
This is
Yeah,
a submission
with-
requirement.
right.
if you're doing
It's not-
something outside of what we normally do,
Yeah.
you have to put a note on there that says this
Yeah.
this road is not intended to be a public road.
Right.
Right.
Follow the standards and regulations
So
set
it's-
by the DPW
Right.
and these
Mhm.
regulations, right?
It's just basically telling the developer, work with our
You
DPW.
have to meet with our standards
right.
by the
You
DPW.
have to meet the standards, or you're not going to meet the standards.
Right.
It's never going to be a public road. Yeah, that's fine. I
Peer
think
review is
yeah.
only there to check it based on our regulations,
at the end.
not to design anything,
No,
not to
no, no,
suggest
no, no.
anything.
That's okay. Yeah, that's fair.
The DPW, their regulation may have that in there as using a peer review as an alternative.
Yeah, they might. They might.
Problem is these private roadways, they come back 10 years later to haunt us. That's the problem.
Oh,
I got one, 1956, I'm trying to clean up.
I mean, I wishes were horses, beggars could ride. I'd say we should never allow a private roadway. Because the buyer, the second time or third time buyer of that unit is the one that says, no one ever told me, the realtor never told me this is a private way, no one's plowing my street or no one's maintaining it. It's not the first time buyer.
Right.
They're well aware that it's a private way. It's when he sells or they sell their house the second or third time over. Then all of a sudden they're wrong residents. They've been wrong.
I don't want to sound like a bad guy, but honestly, I really don't care.
Well, yeah, but still.
No, I mean, the whole
No,
point,
but let buyer
the
beware.
planning board worked with the developer to build this road,
Yeah, I
and they built
understand.
it, hey, it's a private road, it'll always be a private road.
Yeah, I hear you, but
If you're gonna yell at the planning board, you're yelling at the wrong person.
you
It
got
is
to go back.
it is some buyer beware, but I've seen on deeds where where people have an easement, let's say, over a private way, and it's in Patrick's deed. When Patrick sells it to me, he's passing over your way. You don't like that, so you go to him and say, hey, can we just take this out and whatever, and the lawyer writes it out without that in there. Well,
It's
that
on-
property still has access.
There's only so much the planning board can do.
And it's
I
not,
understand.
it's not a planning board issue.
It's
It's,
not.
it's a
The lawyers make a lot
Regulation.
more money than we do on the planning board.
absolutely. It's an issue. Like John said, it's an issue for the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth buyer down the road. It's the same thing with private drive with shared driveway.
Shared
Do the
driveway.
exact same thing.
Well,
The first two, we're
Well, they're
we're best
related
friends.
family members, then they're non-related family members. So when
Yep.
it's related family member for the first 20 years, everybody's happy.
Right.
Then when they go away or deceased and they're non-related, then it's an issue.
Well, the plow truck breaks, and then what do you do? Who's
Right.
gonna maintain it? You know?
I just,
I
I know there's no way,
but all those things
there's no way to, I don't think there's any community
There's
that says you can't. There's just,
No,
I mean,
you
we could
can't.
make it,
You can't.
can't.
we could put a condition that every deed, every I don't even know if you can do that as a lawyer, as a planning board, say that every deed shall have a certain verbiage. You know, every, and subsequent deed after that.
Well,
You
Yeah, so
can't
you
enforce
Yeah,
it.
they do.
well, that's the problem, is you can't enforce it, and if,
Can't enforce, but
If-
like homeowners associations, that's in the deeds
Right.
and all that, and in easements are in the deeds.
Yeah. so Patrick is selling his house, and it says on there that, you know, has frontage on Zimbabwe, which is not a town road. If that's what's in his thing, he's selling his house, and he's not getting any offers because people look at the deed, which doesn't usually happen, but it
No,
happens
they don't.
occasionally. They look at it and go, whoa, I don't like this language on a private road, that road's always gonna be private. Patrick goes, well, heck with it, I'm just gonna take it out. We file a new deed. It's not in there anymore. Not our problem.
I hear you.
Again, it's really, it comes down to is a civil matter and how much do we want to, how much can we reduce civil?
Well, why don't we just?
Well, we have a group of people over here by Sacarapa that would love us to take their roads over, but the amount of money that it would take to bring it up to speed
I know that road.
would be very expensive for the whole community.
Yeah.
And the people that live on the road, don't have the resources to do it themselves.
No.
There's drainage issues, huge drainage issues.
They're working on it.
It's not just the roadway, it's the drainage and everything to bring it up to standards. It's daunting, the amount of money required. And they used to be camps back in the day.
Yeah.
Now they're homes.
Yep.
Just saying. No, I
Again, it's
have
not
my
a-
sympathy, but I'm just trying to say.
That's not an issue on us, for us.
Well, if we do another private road, why don't we just make a condition that the streets, the street sign says,
Private way.
says
Yes.
Everett Way, perpetual private way.
Or just private way. That typically is what happens. Is it does
Perpetual
say
private way means
private way.
forever.
It does.
You just want the buyers, the
Yeah,
future
you got-
buyers to be aware.
Street sign that's,
Perpetual private way, quote, just saying,
I just feel bad for these people that buy these things. And
absolutely.
Go for the real estate agent. They're supposed
Yeah.
to do it.
Oh,
No,
sure.
well,
and the lawyers, and their lawyer
yeah.
that reviews the documents.
So that's,
We had a home buyer come up here, I'm like, why are you here? You should have your real estate agent come up looking for permits and open, real estate agent should have the home, or
Right.
future home.
Future, right? It stays.
So I think.
I mean, I think this section as
No, it's fine.
is good. I think it's fine.
I think I see the point of it, and I think it clearly defines
Yeah.
what.
Yeah. So we move on to 7, planning board decision timelines.
Do we B and C are fine?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shall be reviewed, incorporated,
Review and incorporate it with the definitive subdivision decision.
I mean, shall or should that say?
Yeah.
You just leave it as shall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing to back this up. There's no statute or general law to back this up, but that's okay.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. It's fine.
7.
And then just change town clerk from city clerk to town clerk office, the end of B, very last.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I see.
It's in there a couple times. Planning board shall take action within the time frame provided under, period of time to take final action or file decision with the clerk's office. Extended to that must provide time. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think that's all standard language, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, it all refers to your
Yeah.
state
Yep.
MGL.
8,
Section 44(1).
yeah. Definitive subdivision, public hearing and notification. Shall hold the public hearing according to MGL.
Yes, same thing.
As amended.
You cite state
All
statute.
of these things are
It's all boilerplate.
statute. That's
Yeah,
all.
or you've got to follow the statute.
Yep.
Okay.
Notice the planning board
Yeah,
webpage.
the
The webpage one.
yeah.
Is that a requirement or
Nope.
no? Well, we do it, but we could.
Typically, yeah.
We're starting to get better at that.
We are. Yes, I think that's. I'm gonna just double check.
I think you might want to get rid of Middlesex there. Let's see. Worcester County.
Oh, so we jumped down to 9?
No.
Well, no, I'm just looking
I
ahead.
was
You're
looking
right,
at-
look at 8. That looks.
I was looking at the above, the 3 eyes.
Yeah.
Notice on the planning board's webpage.
Yeah, that's
Web
what
page.
I'm
Maybe just take that out completely.
We do not have a webpage yet for the planning.
Yeah, we
we
do.
do.
Yeah, we do. I thought we did. Yeah.
Well, we could change, because is
Yeah,
that
it's
just
not-
like
that's-
notifying people that the planning board?
I think the problem with where that is in there, with as it being 3, is A talks about MGL 41 and 81T, but 3 is not in 81T.
It's not an MGL.
No, it's not an MGL. I wonder if that should be B.
Well, A above talks about MGL 81T as amended, and then
Right.
it goes into the I,
Right.
2,
Right.
and then
So
3.
I
Advertise a local newspaper.
3
And then,
is not. Sorry. 3 is not a requirement under MGL.
Right, so I mean, I'm fine with,
That's why I think if we change that to B, like making that its own.
oh, there is a B already.
Yeah, and then B would be
during the
C.
public hearing,
Okay. So just as like and maybe just work, so the point of that would be just to, like a notification that the planning board will, whatever,
Yeah,
Like post it on the website.
post it on their website. Or should we say may post it on their website?
It's
or-
not a requirement.
Right, so I think we,
My thing was, when did you forget by accident?
yeah, so just, I would say may. May
I
post,
mean-
may post, project details.
I mean, I'd like it to see, I'd like it on the website.
I do.
I would like
I
it
think
on
we
the
also
website.
do, but
But stuff happens, you know, I mean,
Yeah, but you're gonna be in the newspaper, which is costing us a lot of money, but on the website, it's just a clicking up. It should be on the website, really.
yeah, I agree. But you know, Eric takes like maybe a 3-week vacation,
Well, then as
we have 4
assistant.
subdivisions going on at once.
my assistant. I don't have one.
I know. Just kidding, yes, you're paying attention.
Do you have an assistant?
No, but it should be on the website.
So we'll make that.
The more places, and believe it, if we
Oh,
put it under
absolutely.
every rock, there's still gonna be
Absolutely.
somebody that doesn't know.
100%. And the thing is, you know,
As long as the information is
If
Yeah,
we-
you make best effort to put
When-
it everywhere
when
you
we-
can.
when we hold a public hearing, if we ask everybody who's in the audience, how did you see this? Did you see it in the paper or did you see it
Word of mouth usually, yeah.
word of mouth or did you see it on Facebook? Did you see
Or
it
in the mailing.
in the mailing that you got?
Probably the mailing.
90% of the time, it's in the mailing. The
Yeah.
other 10% of the time is it's
Word of mouth.
well, my buddy
My
got
neighbor.
this. My buddy got this notice, and he couldn't make it. I'm coming because I don't like this.
Right.
You know, it's not.
Which is
You
fine.
don't. It's absolutely fine, but you don't typically get the. You know, oh, I saw that in the paper. No, no.
Well, when you look at the Webster Times, you look at all the illegal notices, you could be a good couple of hours going through to see which ones are germane to your community.
Well,
Just-
we
better
do it in the TNG. It's
Yeah,
even
same
worse.
way. It's page after page.
Yeah.
And it's every community. It's not just your community.
Right. But that's the.
Yeah. You get lost in the weeds, literally.
Oh yeah.
The website's more targeted to our community, so that's
100%. So that's why
put it in the website.
putting it on the website is fine.
You spent all this money developing this thing. It's still a journey and
Mhm.
process, but
Yep.
yeah.
So we're good with that change to be.
But like I said, the thing is you gotta make sure wherever you post everything, it has to be the same.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. You can't.
And that can be tricky.
Be making that
Cut and paste.
requirement,
Well, the thing is that what we put on the website is, we get a digital submission of the applicant, their application, or we scan everything.
Scan.
And then it goes on there, we create a new page that's,
I think it's
1 to 3
subdivision of
ABC
community
Street.
support.
and then, and it's, could be special permit dash 123 ABC Street, subdivision, and I don't think I would put definitive or preliminary on there. I mean, preliminary is one thing to maybe not put on the website, but I wouldn't say definitive subdivision, because people are, what the hell is a
Well, then
definitive
why are we
subdivision?
coming? You've already made your mind up. No,
Right.
no,
So just, it would be subdivision,
propose. Whatever.
7 History Drive or whatever. I don't know.
I mean, I would like, if it's a preliminary submission, then it's preliminary submission. If it's a definitive, you know what I mean? So you separate them, because.
Yeah, so you put it up as preliminary,
Right.
and then when they submit the definitive,
Yep.
you change the title to subdivision. Get rid of the preliminary, because if definitive, quite frankly, I've been in planning for 20 years, and before I came to Massachusetts, I had no idea what a definitive subdivision was. We just had subdivisions in Connecticut.
Hmm.
So, and most people don't look in and go, "Oh, I know exactly what a definitive subdivision is. That's the one for permitting." They're going to know, okay, it's a subdivision. It's, simplify.
Gotcha.
It's easy.
All right.
Um,
As long as we get public input, we're good. Every step. Because the subdivision is a big thing in the community, I would think. It's not like a,
Yeah,
it's not like a
absolutely.
shared driveway.
Yep.
Let's put it that way.
Absolutely it is. Okay, anyway. Are we ready to move on to approval with conditions, or disapproval of the definitive subdivision plan?
Ooh, it's got the master land use plan reference in there.
Mm-hmm.
Master plan use, yeah.
For
Yeah.
subdivision.
Yeah, that's in the master plan too, and that's in the charge of creating a master plan is to, in theory, anyway.
Okay.
I mean, I suppose if your master plan says no more development, we don't need any more residential development, we're full. You may look at that and go, well, these people are crazy. I know we wrote this thing 2 years ago, but we were crazy back then. We need the housing.
Okay.
And the TRT, that's tech review.
Yep. And I think the other thing with the master plan is also if it's a non-residential subdivision, if it's somebody's proposing an industrial park, then the master plan really.
Well, yeah,
Doesn't
all the areas in the master plan are for future or current use are already delineated in the master plan.
Yeah.
And there's proposals.
Mhm.
And there's proposals for new infrastructure. Dana Roadworth is one proposal to eliminate the traffic through the community.
Right.
Those are all on our master plan right now. I'm pushing to get Copwood Road. That would eliminate all the traffic in downtown. They would all go down one exit.
And so that's
It's in the master plan, which is,
Yeah.
So that's fine.
just a few years old.
I think it's fine.
but that's right.
Just change the city clerk to town
Yep,
clerk.
got that.
Yeah.
Planning board should send public notification.
And then your county, down there, Middlesex, Worcester.
Yep.
So we do a legal mailing to the abutters of our decision? Is that something we do? B, am I reading that right?
Yeah, but I want to double check
I
that.
don't think we do.
Well, it's in accordance with MGL, it says.
I know,
C41.
but
I don't remember doing that. And we don't do a lot of subdivisions now.
Section 1T or IT. I don't know. Legal mailings to abutters, abutter municipalities and parties interested.
so 81T. Does not say with the approval that we have to notice.
Where are they signing it?
I don't know.
Maybe they just want to add it. 81T as amended.
Because it says,
as amended.
I just read it. I just read through the whole thing, and it does not. It does say prior to approval.
Okay.
Before approval, modification, and approval or disapproval of a definitive plan is given, a public hearing shall be held by the planning board. Notice of the time and place of which and subject matter sufficient for identification shall be given by the planning board at the expense of the applicant by advertisement in the newspaper, blah, 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 with the timeline specified. Or if there is no such newspaper in such city or town, then by posting such notice in a conspicuous place in the city or town hall for a period of not less than 14 days before the day of such hearing, and by mailing a copy of such advertisement to the applicant and all owners of land abutting upon the land, including such plan as appearing on the most recent tax list, provided, however, that the planning board is also the special permit granting authority for a special permit applicable to the plan. The planning board may hold the definitive plan public hearing together with the public hearing required by section 9 of chapter 48 and allow for the publication of a single advertisement giving notice of the consolidated hearing. There's nothing in there that says that we have to.
There's nothing after approval.
And
That's the whole section.
that's the end of the section.
Yeah, I mean, I would just take it out.
But let's see, before we modification.
I mean, once it's approved, setting people, the notice that it's been approved is kind of like, to some salt in the wounds and to others have right, depending on which side of the fence are on. I mean,
I thought that was odd that was.
yeah,
but then
you've already had your bite at the apple and you've given input.
Maybe they decided to add it there, and just the way they worded it, it seemed like it was part of 81T. Or not.
Doesn't make sense though. I mean,
It's not.
it's not?
I would say chop it right out.
I agree. We're gonna get rid of all of B, right?
Makes no sense at that point.
So
At that point in the
section
process,
is not
it
even
makes.
in 81T.
No,
Not even the notify. Yeah,
it's the notification of decision is not in there.
yeah. Let's get out of it. Let's get it out.
The point of the notice in the first place is to say, hey, we're holding a public hearing on this.
Yeah,
You're in a
that's-
butter, blah blah blah.
Right.
That's the point of 81T.
So we
After that
Yeah.
point, it is up to the onus put onto the abutter to appear and sit through the public hearing and say, okay, well,
Right.
okay, I don't really have a problem with this, or I have a major issue with this. The
Yeah.
planning board approves it anyway. Then they have that 20 days to appeal. We don't have to put a notice in.
Right.
So.
Okay.
Okay. That's standard. The B, the C, which is now B, that is standard language.
Once the appeals process has lapsed, which record the decision. Okay, so they've got 6 months.
Yep.
Which is standard.
So we're just gonna change that to
Yep, change it to Worcester.
with the,
Was Middlesex, Worcester County.
Okay. 10, recession, modification, and automatic recession of a definitive subdivision plan.
I think this is boilerplate.
I think it is too. I don't think there's anything in here.
So we-
Automatic recessions.
Yeah, it cites section 41, 81W.
Yep.
Talks about it. Man.
Yeah, I think all of that.
All of that's-
A, B, C, 1, 2, 3.
Hmm.
Those are all part of
That statute.
that
Yep.
statute. Yeah. Okay. So we've made it through section 5. The question is, do we want to continue to section 6 at
I think so. Probably
this point?
do a couple small sections or something.
1, 2. Bear with me. Make sure I save this. Okay. A pre-application preliminary subdivision application.
Pre-app.
I think we should change that to it. At any point prior to the subdivision of a preliminary subdivision plan, the planning board recommends the applicant submit preliminary plans for review and comment by the technical review team.
The
Strongly recommend, or?
an applicant's. No. Okay, so at any point prior to the submittal of a preliminary subdivision, the planning board recommends that an applicant submit preliminary plans for review and comments by the TRT. Contact the PB administrator to schedule a meeting. I think that's fine.
Yep.
Because you have to do it for a definitive. It's a shall. We made that change, so. Pre-application preliminary subdivision plan application
Review.
review. Oh my god, these titles are.
Quit. A lot of words. Request the meeting of the planning board administrator. So who would be that designate? You, the chair?
That's me.
Or you? So they
We-
can
we
request a
may-
meeting after the, in addition to the tech review
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah, I mean, we may want to change that title to my title, whatever it may be. I don't even know what it is.
Okay.
Land management commander.
So, well, according to something I read today, it might be land commissioner.
Wow.
What the hell is that?
I read that too. Yeah. That's some serious comedy.
The commish.
Good match. Oh,
I like that.
Right, I like it.
The building commissioner or land commissioner?
That's funny.
I'll call you late for dinner to be all set.
So you will come up with a name for that.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
come up with a clever name for that. Yeah.
But they can request to meet with you, go over stuff.
But isn't some of this in the forms as well, though? We've gone over the forms.
Yeah.
We might be able to grab some of that from the
Yeah.
form.
I think we have to use basically the same language almost.
Maybe make them consistent.
Yeah, sure. If there's changes, if there's something different,
And it says conform with section 6
Yeah.
of these regulations.
This
And
is-
answer any questions
this
regarding
is
the
section
process.
6, so.
So you can guide them through the process, conduct the site survey
Yeah.
with them. You can go out and see the site with them.
We do that all the time.
Yeah.
That's standard.
Yeah.
We do it for almost every application that comes in. You know, if it's submitted by an engineer, typically they know what they're doing.
Typically,
Sometimes.
sometimes. More now than back in the olden days.
When it's a homeowner submitting a package, I go through it with them and make sure,
Yeah.
everything's
this
here.
is-
But this is,
Yeah, subdivision, not too many homeowners.
I mean, the preliminary is not it's a concept. It's not anything for permitting, so.
Right.
It could be,
Oh yeah,
You know,
I guess a homeowner.
somebody comes in and says, hey, I've got 50 acres of land.
Yeah.
And I've sketched out this road and I've sketched out these.
There's one proposal to eliminate the traffic through the community.
Right.
Those are all on our master plan right now. I'm pushing to get Coppock Road. That would eliminate all the traffic in downtown. They would all go down one exit.
Anyway, so that's
It's in the master plan, which is, you know,
Yeah.
So that's fine.
just a few years old.
I think it's fine.
but that's, right.
Just change the city clerk to town
Yep,
clerk.
got that.
Yeah.
Planning board should send public notification.
And then your county, down there, Middlesex, Worcester.
Yep.
So we do a legal mailing to the abutters of our decision. Is that something we do? B, am I reading that right?
Yeah, but I want to double check
I
that.
don't think we do.
Well, it's in accordance with MGL, it says.
I know,
C41.
but
I don't remember doing that. And we don't do a lot of subdivisions now. but-
Section 1T or IT. I don't know. Legal mailings to abutters, abutter municipalities and parties interested.
so 81T. Does not say with the approval that we have to notice.
Why are they signing it?
I don't know.
Maybe they just want to add it. 81T as amended.
Because it says,
as amended.
I just read it. I just read through the whole thing, and it does not. It does say prior to approval.
Okay.
Before approval, modification, and approval or disapproval of a definitive plan is given, a public hearing shall be held by the planning board. Notice of the time and place of which and subject matter sufficient for identification shall be given by the planning board at the expense of the applicant by advertisement in the newspaper, blah, 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 with the timeline specified. Or if there is no such newspaper in such city or town, then by posting such notice in a conspicuous place in the city or town hall for a period of not less than 14 days before the day of such hearing, and by mailing a copy of such advertisement to the applicant and all owners of land abutting upon the land, including such plan as appearing on the most recent tax list, provided, however, that the planning board is also the special permit granting authority for a special permit applicable to the plan. The planning board may hold the definitive plan public hearing together with the public hearing required by section 9 of chapter 48 and allow for the publication of a single advertisement giving notice of the consolidated hearing. There's nothing in there that says that we have to,
There's nothing after approval, and that's the whole section.
that's the end of the section.
Yeah, I mean, I would just take it out.
But, let's see, before we. Modification.
I mean, once it's approved, sending people a notice that it's been approved is kind of like, to some salt in the wounds and to others have right, depending on which side of the fence are on. I mean,
I thought that was odd that was.
yeah,
but then
you've already had your bite at the apple and you've given input.
Maybe they decided to add it there, and just the way they worded it, it seemed like it was part of 81T. Or not.
Doesn't make sense though. I mean,
It's not.
it's not?
I would say chop it right out.
I agree. We're gonna get rid of all of B, right?
Makes no sense at that point.
So
At that point in the
section
process,
is not
it
even
makes.
in 81T.
No,
Not even the notify. Yeah,
it's the notification of decision is not in there.
yeah. Let's get out of it. Let's get it out.
The point of the notice in the first place is to say, hey, we're holding a public hearing on this.
Yeah,
You're in a
that's-
butter, blah blah blah.
Right.
That's the point of 81T.
So we
After that
Yeah.
point, it is up to the onus put onto the abutter to appear and sit through the public hearing and say, okay, well,
Right.
okay, I don't really have a problem with this, or I have a major issue with this. The
Yeah.
planning board approves it anyway. Then they have that 20 days to appeal. We don't have to put a notice in.
Right.
So.
Okay.
Okay. That's standard. The B, the C, which is now B, that is standard language.
Once the appeals process has lapsed, they should record the decision. Okay, so they've got 6 months.
Yep.
Which is standard.
So we're just gonna change that to
Yep, change it to Worcester.
with the
Was Middlesex, Worcester County.
10, recession, modification, and automatic recession of a definitive subdivision plan.
I think this is boilerplate.
I think it is too. I don't think there's anything in here.
So we
Automatic recessions.
Yeah, it cites section 41, 81W.
Yep.
Talks about it. Man.
Yeah, I think all of that.
All of that's-
A, B, C, 1, 2, 3.
Hmm.
Those are all part of
That statute.
that
Yep.
statute. Yeah. Okay. So we've made it through section 5. The question is, do we want to continue to section 6 at
I think so. Probably
this point?
do a couple small sections or something.
Bear with me. Make sure I save this. Okay. A pre-application preliminary subdivision application.
Pre-app.
I think we should change that to it. At any point prior to the subdivision of a preliminary subdivision plan, the planning board recommends the applicant submit preliminary plans for review and comment by the technical review team.
The
Strongly recommend, or?
an applicant's. No. Alright, so at any point prior to the submittal of a preliminary subdivision, the planning board recommends that an applicant submit preliminary plans for review and comments by the TRT. Contact the PB administrator to schedule a meeting. I think that's fine.
Yep.
Because you have to do it for a definitive. It's a shall. We made that change, so. Pre-application preliminary subdivision plan application review. Oh my Atlanta. These titles are.
A lot of words. Request the meeting of the planning board administrator. So who would be that designate? You, the chair?
That's me.
Or you? So they
We
can request a
may.
meeting after the, in addition to the tech review
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah, I mean, we may want to change that title to my title, whatever it may be. I don't even know what it is.
Okay.
Land management commander.
So, well, according to something I read today, it might be land commissioner.
Wow.
What the hell is that?
I read that too. Yeah. That's some serious comedy.
The commish.
Good match. Oh,
I like that.
Right. I like it.
The building commissioner or land commissioner?
That's funny.
I'll call you late for dinner to be all set.
So you will come up with a name for that.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
come up with a clever name for that. Yeah.
But they can request to meet with you, go over stuff.
But isn't some of this in the forms as well, though? We've gone over the forms.
Yeah.
You might be able to grab some of that from the
Yeah.
form.
I think we have to use basically the same language almost.
Maybe make them consistent.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. If there's changes, if there's something different, we'll.
And it says conform with section 6
Yeah.
of these regulations.
This
And
is-
answer any questions
This
regarding
is
the
section
process.
6, so.
So you can guide them through the process, conduct the site survey
Yeah.
with them. You can go out and see the site with them.
We do that all the time.
Yeah.
That's standard.
Yeah.
We do it for almost every application that comes in. You know, if it's submitted by an engineer, typically they know what they're doing.
Typically.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. More now than back in the olden days.
When it's a homeowner submitting a package, I go through it with them and make sure,
Yeah.
everything's
this
here.
is-
But this is, yeah.
Yeah, subdivision, not too many homeowners.
I mean, the preliminary is not a full, it's a concept. It's not anything for permitting, so.
Right.
It could be,
Oh yeah,
You know,
I guess a homeowner.
somebody comes in and says, hey, I've got 50 acres of land.
Yeah,
And I've sketched out this road and I've sketched out these.
farming and I got 100 acres and I want to do something. Yeah.
That's when the land commish steps in,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are laughing at that pretty good.
It's just the little things that just,
Sounds like something from Russia, Commissioner.
I'm right down.
Commissary.
Delivery of a preliminary subdivision application package prior to the drop-off. Applicant shall schedule a meeting with the planning board office for delivery and review.
Yeah, we did something in the form. Maybe we changed that in the form.
I think we changed it in a previous section.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know we did something, we changed that.
I think may, not shall, may. May schedule a meeting. I mean, it's, you're basically saying in what you're saying in 2, you're saying again 3A.
Instead of shall.
I think may is, it's consistent, I think.
Should we add that planning board recommends again?
No, I don't,
No?
not in that one, I don't think.
No?
No.
Just to make sure everything's all put together right before it goes in front of us?
It even delineates the meeting should be approximately 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Who came up with that number?
I'm looking at it here. I know time's money, but
I don't know. I mean, I try not to drag anything out. I think just changing the shall to may.
I think I like the planning board recommends. I mean, it's the same thing. We're not telling them they have to, but we're just
So if we say it
recommending.
right at the beginning of the sentence,
Prior to the drop off of preliminary subdivision package,
the planning board.
planning board recommends the applicant schedule a meeting with the planning commission. Comment down, the land comment.
Oh, are you in 2? Or in
yeah,
three,
we're at 3.
I'm in 3A.
I think that the planning board recommends that blah blah blah. I think that might be better language for 2.
Maybe both.
We already added it to A, right? Number
Yeah.
1.
Yeah.
Yes.
Then add a T.
1A.
Yeah, okay, yep. That sounds good.
Because the
Is it kind of the same thing,
it is
the 2 A's?
2A and 3A are almost the same
Same
thing.
Yeah, I don't see the difference. Unless,
Can we blend them together?
I think we should
same
get
thing.
rid of 2.
Prior to finalization.
It says the same thing as A.
So just pre-application.
For delivery and review of the application.
One's review and one's just drop it off. Here you
Yeah.
go. I'll see you later.
Well,
That would be 3.
I think if we can blend those 2 into one.
Yeah,
that'd be fine.
leave 2 and get rid of 3.
the 3 has B
Oh, B.
and then C and D and E.
Well, I would replace 3A with 2A.
Oh, 3 has more to it.
That's what I'm saying. I think get rid of
2
2.
blended into 3.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, the A. Yeah. And then go B,
So if I
then
take
3.
this language out and this language, and then we can just get rid of 2 in its entirety.
Mhm.
So 3 becomes 2. Planning board recommends that prior to the finalization of primary blah blah blah, schedule a review, and then I'm leaving the last sentence, the parentheses. Such meeting is anticipated to take approximately 30 minutes. I'll leave that in there.
Yeah, I like it.
Oh, gee.
It's always good to have a guideline.
Give somebody,
Somebody shoot for.
somebody knows what they're. Well,
Well, if they're
somebody
an
knows
engineer-
that they're not
if
just
they're
going to
an
walk in and go, "Hey, I want you to review this,"
If they're
and
an
then go,
engineer, they're gonna know.
"Okay, I got to run."
And it's right before lunch and you know, you're like,
Uh,
planning board says 30 minutes.
You know, but if they're an engineer, they know what they're doing. They're not gonna be wasting their time.
no, but if it's a,
And their time is money too.
someone like to, say, "Oh, this could take us 2 hours to go over this whole thing." Yeah, they turn around and bill their client for it. Some people don't have scruples. There are not many who would do that though.
Right.
Okay, so B, during the scheduled application.
Should drop off.
Planning board will review the application package, review the subdivision process with the application for our timeline, answer questions, and schedule an opening public. We don't have a public hearing for preliminary.
No.
So we can get rid of that last part of that, the and opening public hearing.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Were you at on that one?
On B, the last part of B.
The top of the page.
Shall review any questions applicant may have and schedule a
Yeah.
technical review.
Yeah.
And
Or opening a public
opening
hearing.
public
Oh,
hearing.
no.
Preliminaries don't have public here,
It's-
because it's a
You
concept.
gotta way ahead of yourself, right?
Yeah. All right, and then complete versus incomplete. Again, I'm going to highlight Form 4 because we don't necessarily have Form 4, but it would be whatever our form is, whatever we call it. And then same thing with Form 6. We don't really have a Form 6. But maybe we need to make one. Incomplete. It just says we will not sign Form 1. So under 2, if it's incomplete, we don't. But we do provide them with the other form checklist, which makes sense.
Checklist.
But we need to. I'll work on a checklist for preliminary and then.
Yep.
And the forms.
With the forms, we're good with the forms.
I thought we're good with the forms.
We are.
already did. We just have to reference.
We did the forms, we did not do a checklist
Okay.
for preliminary subdivisions.
All right.
Oh,
We may already have one, but I don't know for sure.
So all you gotta do is reference the forms we have.
Yeah.
Here we
Yep, it's just gonna change the-
change it
Yep.
for to whatever ours
Form
are.
B, I think is what it is, and then
yeah, okay.
we'll have to create the preliminary subdivision. plan
So you may need a
checklist.
checklist.
Yeah, and then we can, when we go to public hearing for these, we can introduce the form at that time and.
Yep.
As an appendix.
Sounds good.
I'm sure we'll have a definitive checklist also, so.
You never have enough checklists.
No. How do you know if something's done right if you don't have a checklist?
My favorite checklists are the ones that people submit unchecked, completely unchecked.
We've had a few of those.
Mm-hmm. Completely unchecked.
Yep.
Not one box. Here's your checklist. Nothing checked. Okay.
We've had that, and then we've had the ones they've checked things, and you look and go, you didn't submit this.
Yeah.
You checked it.
Rapid fire check.
Yeah, we gotta plan this to that scale and that size, and
Rare.
maybe you do. You just didn't give it to us. Once preliminary subdivision application package is deemed complete by the planning board office, then the applicant shall deliver the Form 4 to the town clerk. One copy of the application.
We went through this 2 copies. How many copies? I know we did the forms. I forget
Yeah,
what
we're
it
gonna
was.
have to.
You have to go. You'll have to reference it. Forget.
But this is a
We
good.
cut down the copies.
Tell them what to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it says what to do. Just
We're
it
on
says that you have
D.
to provide
We're on D.
D. Yeah.
D.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good procedure.
Yeah, so D is just once it's deemed, once you sit down, deem it complete, you go down to the clerk's office and you get a stamped copy, get a copy of it, and you submit that back to me. I think that's okay.
Okay, by the planning board office, so that would be.
That would be me, yeah.
That starts the clock.
Yep, that's just, yeah, sort of.
Actually, no.
No, it doesn't, because it's, the clock starts when it goes to the planning board.
Yeah,
But there is no, on a preliminary, it's not really a.
Oh. Is there a clock in the pro?
yeah, but when the town clerk stamps it, what is it?
Well, the town clerk is stamping that they have a copy, that they've received it.
Okay, there's no timeline from that submission at that point.
No.
It's when it's before the planning board.
Correct.
Okay, that's what I want.
I guess.
Okay, so after.
Yeah, and then so E is just saying that once it's stamped by the clerk, it comes back up. It says, "Here you go. I have a copy of it, stamped by the clerk."
Gotcha.
Should be
Yeah, we could.
stopped for now.
Yeah, I think so.
Right. B preliminary.
Anybody up for maybe meeting again next Wednesday?
I'm not here next Wednesday. Busy rates too.
What's next?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, that's fine.
Is that fine? Are you good?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine.
I don't.
Yeah.
I will send you a notice. What? I'll send you a thing.
Okay. Thank you all.